underground bar, there lived a monster wearing a hood. He only needed to swallow a dead person's belongings to transform into their appearance. Though he only had 2 minutes, the dead would briefly return to life, long enough for their loved ones to fulfill their final wishes. Such a powerful ability made many willing to pay a high price to communicate with deceased loved ones, unaware that the more souls summoned, the more terrifying the curse became. A few days ago, I received a call from the police. I was told my father had been burned to death. I immediately flew to the funeral home. Seeing my father's charred, unrecognizable face, I felt no sorrow. He had abandoned me and my mother when I was young. Leaving the funeral home, a mysterious man stopped me. He claimed to be my father's lawyer, Jack, and said my father had left me an inheritance. He then took me to that bar. The bar looked a bit old, but not particularly new. Jack told me the bar had been around for over 400 years. I didn't pay much attention to that, just wandered around the bar casually. I walked into a hallway, and a cold wind hit me. The walls were lined with yellowed photos of past owners of the bar. Suddenly, I noticed a charred spot on the floor. That was where my father had died. I followed the scorched floorboards and looked ahead, seeing a slightly worn wooden door shut tight. Cold gusts of wind blew from inside. I had no idea what terrifying thing lay behind that door. While I was lost in thought, Jack interrupted my thoughts, then took out an ancient parchment contract. He told me before inheriting the bar, I had to sign my full name on it as part of an old inheritance ritual. I didn't think much of it, figuring it was just a simple signature. Besides, I could get an old bar for free, and if I didn't want it, I could sell it for some profit. So, I signed my name on the contract. But what I didn't know was, once I inherited the bar, I was already a dead person. After signing the contract, Jack said he would bring the keys to the bar the next day. With nowhere else to go, I decided to stay in the bar for the night. At midnight, the sound of a clock suddenly rang out from downstairs. I was immediately startled awake. Then, I heard the creaking of floorboards below. It sounded like someone was walking on the floor. Summoning my courage, I got up, turned on my phone's flashlight, and slowly descended the stairs. I checked around, but found no one. Then, I turned on the light to the basement hallway and walked forward, only to find the wooden door locked. The door was covered in strange symbols. I pressed my ear against the door, and sure enough, the clock sound came from within. Just as I was lost in thought, a shadow flashed past me from behind. My nerves immediately tensed. I walked back to the main hall, and suddenly...
Shut up!